Start back. I mean, come on.
We should be able to cook here.
Run with my blade.
I'm impressed how well balanced this thing is.
You know what? I'm just gonna cook some food.
Oh, that's a good way to stay through.
Run with my blade. Combat points. Huh. Fuck it.
Hey!
Make sure to get some good rest.
What joy to be sated. May I know this satisfaction evermore.
Oh. Crap. Can't be right. Shit.
Got a bad feeling about this one.
Me too. Better keep our distance.
Crap.
We'll kick your ass!
Run with my blade.
Later, buddy!
Well, it's the moment of truth.
This lady better hold together once we're up in the air.
Law, don't say that. You're going to jinx us.
Speaking of which, Alphen, this bucket of bolts got a name?
A name?
Run with my blade.
You know, I'm not sure she ever had one. I never really thought about it.
Well, after all the trouble we went through to find her, we should give her one, right? I was thinking something like...
Fall Knights.
Huh?
It means owl in the ancient tongue. Literally, the one drawn to the skies.
I like it. Sounds perfect for our little escapade.
Fuck it.
Not sure I'm completely convinced, but, well, it's as good a name as any. From now on, she'll be known as the Fallings.
Aren't you?
Okay, people.
Oh.
We have 2 goals. First, we need to get to Lenegis and make the Renans finally leave Dana alone. And then, we need to figure out the truth behind Shion's thorns and find a way to save her.
Sometimes
Sound
I
good?
just yarn with the best of them.
All right, and let's go.
Give me 16 lemon. It's an anime type of game, bitch. So you're a type of game too. But I have to play the RPG them in that. Them worth the money.
No, I can still hardly believe
Alright,
it.
babies, I'm back.
Believe what?
I mean, just look at
I'm
it.
back, girls.
The whole of existence crammed inside a tiny
What's going
frame.
on here?
Now that you mention it, I guess you're right. It does look more like a painting than a living, breathing world.
From up here, all the struggles we've been through feel so
Brace up your body, Van
insignificant.
Miguel.
Nothing like realizing how small you are to put everything into perspective. Kinda makes the differences between the Renans and the Danans
Just
feel
want you
pretty
come
small
give
too,
me
huh?
Some love and affection.
How much longer until we reach Lenegis?
There are better ways to use your time than napping. We should take a moment to familiarize ourselves with the facilities on board before arrival.
260,
Good idea. The starship may end up serving as our base of operations once we're down there.
260.
Think you'll be all right with the controls?
You mean the one set to automatic pilot? I dare say I'll manage. I'm basically just here to supervise.
In that case, she's all yours.
Everything okay, Shion? You seem
We'll be going to Lenegis soon.
This must feel like a homecoming of sorts to you, huh? What was life on Lenegis like back then? You know, before you came to Dana.
Here,
Let's just say I don't have many happy memories. I've had thorns my whole
Reno?
life. For as long as I can remember. They called it treatment. But in truth, they were just using me as a guinea pig for their research.
You mean, they experimented on you?
That's right. All I was to them was a riddle to solve. They poked and prodded me, trying to figure out what triggered my thorns or changed the form they took. Day in and day out, every single day, one test after another. I'm still surprised they didn't try to dissect me. The look they gave me whenever one of them touched my skin. How could I forget it? Reeling from the pain, like I was a monster or something. Some existence, huh? A blight on any I touched. Helplessly complicit in their
Big
pain.
Dick Chris.
I thought things couldn't get any worse. But then
You
they
heard me?
did. I started
You
to
heard
have
me?
nightmares, visions of the coming apocalypse. Is it any wonder I lacked a cheery disposition? Unable to so much as touch another soul. Loneliness was my best friend. Sure, I survived, but with the knowledge that one day I'd be swallowed up by oblivion. And that's when it hit me. If I was going to die,
Porque se dan
then it
10
should
años
mean
más.
something. If I have to sacrifice myself to save the world, so be it.
I'm sorry.
Delicioso.
I didn't mean to make you relive that.
I'll suck off if I can
No, it's fine. I'm in a much better
What?
place now.
Yummy.
You say it's your destiny to die so that others can live.
What?
But why not the other way
Who said
around?
that?
Why shouldn't we be the ones dying to save you?
Are you crazy? Why would you sacrifice your life for...
That's exactly my point. Why should you have to give up your life just because you drew the short straw in the destiny stakes? How is that even right? It's that logic that's used to justify slavery. As if some of us were just meant to be sacrificed.
So tomorrow I get
This
another
struggle was
400
never
Puma
about
gems.
saving
Alright.
only ourselves. That doesn't mean we have to give up our own lives to save everyone else's either. If we're doing this to protect people, if we're doing this to save the world,
Just hiding a shot,
we're
woman.
going to win. And now I see it.
A victory?
You bet we...
Yeah, we can...
No, we're at 10.
Is something wrong?
No. I was merely thinking how it had been 7 years, that's all.
You mean since you became a lord and left Lenegis? I guess even someone like you can get homesick, huh?
I am as prone to sentimentality as any other. Tell me, though, you too have a history with Lenegis. A traumatic one, no less. This trip will probably mean facing up to some difficult emotions. Doesn't that frighten you?
Well, it is a place where I took the lives of countless people. I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought about it. But I can't keep running forever. The past is what it is. There's no changing that. But the future's what we make it.
I see.
Dohalim?
Forgive me. I was wrong to pry. We have more pressing matters to address. Come back and speak to me when you've...
Jesus.
Hey, Alvin, listen to this! So Law and I were just talking and...
Hey, shut up!
What's got Law all flustered?
Only that he's afraid of flying, the big baby. And after all that fuss he made about naming the ship, too.
Hey, I never said I was scared. I just think it's, you know, a little unsettling how we're going to be cruising through space in a glorified tin can. That's all.
It's a starship, dummy. That's what it's supposed to do. I don't think there's anything strange about it.
Well, maybe you're the one with the problem then.
Guys. I'm no expert, but I think we can trust Renan technology. It got me to Dana in one piece, remember?
Oh, that's a good point. If you think so, Alvin, it must be okay. Don't you agree, Law?
Hard to argue with that, seeing how you hitched a ride in one of these things before, Alvin. It's just wrong, okay?
You okay? Feeling airsick?
Actually, now that you mention it, not at all. These starships are a remarkably smooth ride, all things considered. Nothing like being at sea, thank goodness.
Glad to hear it. That device there caught your eye, huh?
I was just wondering what it is. It looks big enough to fit a person inside of it.
It's a healing pod. It fixes injuries and illnesses.
Oh, you don't say. Well, that should definitely come in handy if any of us get injured while we're down there. Alphen? Was it something I said?
No, I was just thinking back to when I escaped Lenegis, that's all. What with the ceremony and losing control, I was a total mess. Naori laid me inside here.
Walking the boat
So,
in.
you're saying you got in this thing straight after escaping? But that mean you were inside for 300 years?
Yes, it sounds crazy, I know. But don't even ask me why I stayed asleep all that time.
That's definitely quite some lie-in, all right. But still, whether you meant to or not, I sure am glad that it's this century that you finally woke up in.
What do you mean?
With the amount of fighting we've done, we would have never made it this far without you. And not only that, but... Alphen, can you recall back to what it is that I said to you? Back when we left Menancia? About the dream of coexistence, and needing to learn what it is.
Of course.
Oh my
Even in...
God.
I'll always... The
Too much
world,
chatting.
if I've learned, and the one...
Well, we're...
I know.
Sorry.
Probably...
Jesus.
Is everyone about ready? We'll soon be making preparations to land.
Before we do that, just what exactly should we expect when we get down there?
Kisara has a point. Now that I think of it, I don't know the first thing about Lenegis.
I'd like to hear more too. It's been centuries since I was last there, and they didn't exactly give me the grand tour.
Very well. First and foremost, Lenegis was the base of operations in charge of the crown contest on Dana. Of course, it also happens to be a city in its own. Its social structure is based on a strict hierarchy. Put simply, the strength of an individual's astral arts carries great weight.
Enough to determine someone's social rank, you mean? But astral arts are innate, right? So people's positions are fixed at birth.
They can be honed with the right training, and there are admittedly other factors at play. But yes, that's basically the gist. As a result, family lines that churn out lords and their contenders wield disproportionate influence, and those lineages are treated as nobility.
Those capable of only weak astral arts are effectively an underclass, denied the right to descend to Dana even if they wanted to. Still, even the lowest rung on the Renin ladder is considered superior to being a Danan. Keep that in mind down there.
Thanks for the warning. As a lord, Dohalim must have been pretty high up in the pecking order, right? What about you, Shion?
Come on, you've seen her skill with astral arts. You really need to ask?
Fair point.
On arts alone, you're right. I'd have been sitting pretty. But you're forgetting my thorns. They weren't exactly an invitation to high society.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Jeez.
Wait a second. Are you? He is! Lost blushing!
I am not!
Of course, separating people into castes, as if such...
So they...
I would wager chances are...
If the Renis Alma...
That red woman's got a lot to answer.
We're about to land.
If there are clues... There's no one here. I wasn't expecting a welcome mat, but still...
Lenegis's infrastructure is largely automated. Besides, people won't be expecting incoming traffic while the crown contest is still underway.
Do you think anyone realizes that we're here?
We may not have received a royal welcome, but I doubt our entrance went unnoticed. Don't let your guard down.
I really hope we don't have to fight anybody while we're here.
So now what? We've come all this way on a hunch that this red woman is here, right? And if we're lucky, the Renis Alma too.
There is an area of the city that is accessible.
Forbidden?
I don't know. Hence my desire to find out. In any case, changing...
Then you think that sword...
Precisely. Whatever the ceremony's purpose, then the Renis Alma might be hiding something of that worth in the resident.
It stands to reason we should be looking somewhere normally out of...
Indeed.
There's only one way to find out.
Shion's right.
All right. Beyond that wall lies a city full of Renins. A capital city where Shion and Dohalim used to live.
Thinking about what could be lurking at...
For such a loud...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Would you two children...
So how many Renins actually live in this place?
I couldn't tell you exactly, though not as many as you might expect. Machines and Zeugles take care of most of the city's basic functions.
There's Zeugles out here too, huh? Sounds like we can't afford...
What in the world?
This being Renan territory, I was prepared for a lot of things to look different. But this is a bit more than I anticipated.
The very foundations of the city have shifted. What could have caused this?
When Lenegis changed shape, it must have had an effect on the interior, too.
Maybe when they sent the wedge down to Dana?
But they wouldn't move around the places where people live. These are their homes, right?
I would think the citizens themselves didn't have much say in the matter. Either way, locating the Forbidden Zone just became that much trickier.
Dohalim? Is that you?
Avakir, I'm glad to see you're well.
So it is you! But why are you here? Shouldn't you be down on Dana participating in the crown contest? And these people!
So you haven't heard what happened on Dana, then?
Heard what?
Someone you know?
An old friend.
Hey, Dohalim, don't tell me you've started keeping company with...
They're with me. More importantly, what's happened here?
I'm really not sure. The city's foundations began to shift without warning, and now everything looks like this. We're all waiting for the Sovereign to tell us what's happening, but so far...
Avakir, listen to me. We're looking for the Forbidden Zone. Do you have any idea where we might find it?
The Forbidden Zone? What business could you possibly have there?
Trust me. The less you know, the better.
You're just the same as ever. I wish I could help, but what with the changed topography, I can let alone the Forbidden Zone.
Very well. It looks like we'll have to find the way there ourselves.
Have you seen Faria yet?
No.
I see. Well, nothing much has changed with her. If anything, she's probably even more...
I can well imagine.
Why did you come back? You know it can only result in pain for you both.
I've no doubt of that.
You really are the same as ever. Fine.
So who's Faria?
Law?
If what Avakir said is true,
They seem...
We need...
Well, we're...
And don't forget about...
let's...
Good idea.
I shall...
You sure?
Being a lord...
To the
Right.
fighting nama rasa one chat with
The Danans among us should probably keep our heads down.
What if people freak out?
I should...
What could be so important? It's just...
From how it looked.
But why...
Whatever they're...
He's right.
This for...
You heard him.
Oh, dear me. What an unspeakable mess this has all become. Whatever did we do to
You really have no clue what might have...
Would that I have. Alas, that we have no choice. But do my eyes deceive me? Could I really be standing in the presence of his lordship, Dohalim of the House Ilkaris? I believed he was on Dana.
Your eyes do not deceive you. It is I, one and the same. I have returned to fulfill a special duty.
As your lordship, the Ilk...
Your good wishes do me an honor.
So, I've been wondering, do you think when Lenegis was built...
What do you...
Well, none of this happened, but then...
Ordinary... Trust me. It makes you wonder...
fight somebody. Please. Go on, fight somebody, shit. Nah, but I mean. Never ask me.
Everything will be okay now.
I know the basics of
Yes,
healing arts, but my skills pale in comparison.
Your lordship. Oh, what a... I descended to death. I witnessed the...
Indeed.
Sorry to interrupt.
All red, eh?
Yeah,
What's with all these questions?
never mind. Is everything okay? You look a little lost.
Hmm? Oh, yeah.
I was hoping to...
I suppose I daren't stay. I was hoping...
You mean you know enough?
Lord Dohalim.
Yes.
But of course... I thought maybe it...
It's worth investigating. I shall go in a sec.
You'd really do that?
Our lot in life.
Oh,
Well, we've canvassed this.
No one had...
You'd think that... Not to the...
even...
Yeah. Everything that happened... Nothing happened.
There is...
The Sovereign.
Without the... That's a
The points you come to...
No.
Neither have I.
Oh,
assuming what...
But what about...
Not if the Sovereign...
But what is it?
I'm beginning...
Whoever wins thereafter. As for how...
3 cents. 300. That's not the...
Do you think...
I can't...
But that... We never did...
Jesus.
Wait a... The serum...
There's something else.
Question.
If the forbidden...
Then it's...
One of the citizens... Let's go...
Oh, God.
With nobody left to run the show. I mean, their sovereign's up...
But Dohalim was a lord.
Only current acting lords have...
Even if the other lords were still around.
I wonder what they'd think if they were here to see Lennigan. Balsif? Ganabelt? Oh, now that I think of it, aside from Dohalim, we know next to nothing about the other.
Well, yeah, to us, Dan...
I know.
It feels...
If ever...
And luck...
Dog. Gotta be fucking kidding me.
Ja, Chris hat aber Butterball 6 Spiele.
Yeah.
What?
Double Master Pass XP.
Balsef had it in him to care about someone other than himself.
Oh,
Really?
It's possible.
But
A
where's
change in position can do much to alter one's perspective.
we're not about this
even
place.
he-
Ich bin kein Gebäude.
No, someone would know that.
I guess she intended to spread it throughout all of Lennigus then.
Good thing the lines were down so she couldn't.
It almost sounded like she was praising them, too.
Maybe there was more to the guy than at first glance.
I shall refrain from commenting.
What?
Ganabelt...
Remember when he was still a watch? Ramon left?
This area doesn't look as badly damaged as that other district we went through.
Indeed.
Pardon me.
I guess her willingness to stoop to any low came from a survival of the fittest worldview.
And some people here not only shared her belief, but championed it as morally right too.
Ridiculous. Okay.
It seems like the people on Lennigus don't really know much about Volron either.
I remember being quite surprised when the Lord of Ganath Harros changed so abruptly.
Didn't you have any doubts that something suspicious was going on?
On the contrary. Remember, we Renans are raised to accept everything at face value.
When you think about it, the families of Renan...
Yeah.
They must have had a lot on their shoulders.
Renans, but their loyalty to their people is also strong. It's what...
That's what makes them the guardians of all of Renner.
Right. It's the same reason Balsif hated my guts, and Ganabelt went after you. because we're threats to Rena.
Guess that makes you an even bigger oddball.
So, Alphen,
Yeah. I think it's made me realize that the Lords were all people, too. Falstaff and the others, they all had their own circumstances to deal with as they went through life.
Yeah, but still, just because they had loved ones in their lives doesn't mean...
I know. What they did was horrible, but at the same time, they weren't incomprehensible monsters either. They were into... So I guess...
You're saying that they weren't bad because they were Renans,
Weet
or
je,
because they were
Balduin,
terrible
dit
monsters.
weer-
Even if they did terrible things, they...
Rinwell.
Am I wrong?
Not at all.
Being a dad, I think that...
Shion and...
And I'm going...
What's this thing? There's something I just don't...
What is it?
The crown contest itself has always gone... In which case, the current sovereign of Rena should be whoever it was that won the...
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, who was it then?
Hanfricht Milgras, the former Lord of Cislo.
So then this Hanfricht what...
The last I heard, yes.
You're saying that ever since becoming sovereign, he's never actually shown himself on Lenegus?
I guess over Holocom, maybe, but not in the flesh.
Now that you mention it,
And that never...
when you live here, it's as if you're conditioned not to notice all...
A new Renis Alma is supposedly created to coincide with every crown contest. In other words, if that's true, there should be as many of the things out there as there have been contests.
True, but going on what we witnessed, if even the victor's speech is...
You and me both.
With any luck.
No use standing...
Dog. What's dog? Me understand, but Jesus Christ, that's what we... Oh my God, more
Dill?
Chucky.
Faria.
Varia? I was...
But why are you here? Wait. Don't tell me you've given up on the crown contest and come crawling back home from Dana already.
Yeah.
Nothing to say?
Shut up, man.
Even though you were willing to kill Tarnigan to secure your position as Lord, you still...
Kill?
I'm here to take care of something. If you wish to continue this conversation, I only ask that you wait until I'm finished.
Oh, of course. You always did prefer to take the coward's way out. Even after 7 years and living on that Danon rock, you haven't. But let me tell you, I haven't changed either. Not a day's gone by the past 7 years that I haven't hated you.
If killing me will bring you peace, then so be it.
Don't...
First, I have business to take care of. If it's vengeance you seek, I will grant you it. But you must wait. My sins are legion. Let me finish what I came to do. Then you have my word. I will let you do whatever brings you peace.
Sure, that's it. Run away like always. You don't even have the courage to die. No wonder you leave it to someone else. You're just a coward!
You gotta fuck off from him. Ass bitch.
Dohalim.
I apologize that you had to witness that.
Is it true? What she said about you killing someone?
Each of us have our pasts. I am no exception.
Before, back in Menancia, you mentioned having taken a friend's life over the...
The mistakes I made there were not my first, and may not be my last.
Did you mean what you said? About letting her take your life if she wanted to?
She has more right to my life than anyone.
But you can't just...
Whatever happens, I have sworn to put an end to the crown contest, and to ensure continued coexistence in Menancia. I have no intention of expiring before I do so. There are far too many questions I still seek answers to. Besides, you have just as much reason to kill me as she does.
Dohalim!
Forgive me. Some things are best left unsaid.
What's this thing?
Wow, this place is beautiful.
Yeah. It must be some sort of rest and leisure area for the locals.
You think? Man, these Renin sure know how to live it up, don't they?
Is something the matter, Dohalim?
Before I went down to Dana, my friends and I, we used to gather at this Avakir.
Tarnigan.
He was once my dear... Despite Faria's lower class upbringing, she possesses a entranced by her playing. I helped her overcome. It was a time of great joy.
A friendship based on mutual
I suppose it's natural you would see it as...
I would have. Now. Besides, it would...
Your praise does me... And even then, Tarnigan had fallen for Faria. By becoming Lord, he aimed to wrest her from her humble origins and raise her to the highest echelons of society. But fate was not so benevolent.
What happened?
Tarnigan was no match for me in combat. On a level playing field, he wouldn't have stood a chance. But he was desperate and low on options, and he couldn't stand the thought of defeat.
You mean he resorted to dirty tactics to try to win, right? But then why does Faria think... Wait. Don't tell me she doesn't know.
How could I tell her? Combined with the trauma of losing her beloved, and by her friend's hand, no less. She would have been devastated.
So instead you let her go on hating you, so she could use that hate as a crutch for her grief?
That's not the same as running away, though.
It is exactly the same. Unable to face the loss of my friend and the burden of my duty. Instead, I decried my fate and looked away from what I'd done. As for what happened after, that you already know.
But if you hadn't become Lord, Menancia wouldn't be what it is now. The Danans there would still be suffering under Renin oppression like before.
Shion's right. What other lord would have treated me as you did? Anyone else and I would have been dead long ago. You've saved so many people, Dohalim. You saved me. It's thanks to you that I'm here today. So, try not to blame yourself. The burden you've placed on your own shoulders is too much for anyone to bear.
Frank as always. But I shall do my best to heed your advice.
Do you think he'll be all right?
Yeah, I think...
It's important to have...
I didn't...
Sometimes just...
I hope you're right. I never appreciated until recently just how much you were always there to support me.
What's up?
Goes.
What's up?
Both ways. You've helped me keep going more times than I can count.
Please stop the hunt by chatting. Just let me fight. Finally. Jesus.
Maybe, but I still wanted to say thank you.
I see a medic and supply officer over there. If they know you're with me, they'll likely offer their assistance.
Damn it. Lenegis soldiers.
Any way we can avoid fighting them?
That all depends on them. Whatever happens, be ready.
Well, so much for them not wanting to fight.
Ho! I am Lord Dohalim of Elden Menancia. I command you.
The rest of the city must be erased.
No.
they been brainwashed too?
What the hell? Why?
If they want to fight, they got one.
Oh my god.
Scream, babe. Rending you apart. The enemy will us too.
Listen, this ends now!
Consider yourself finished.
Reflect on thy
My turn.
They
Sword Rain Alpha coming through. Ha! Melt. Scarlet Inferno.
Astral energy!
Say no more.
shine. Every generation. Degenerate. Allow me to help.
Blended Flash. Burn. No escape.
Thanks. Elusive deity.
I'm out of it! I'm all
I'm ready. All yours, Kisara.
Those soldiers seem different from the citizens we've come across so far.
Yeah, they weren't big talkers, that's for sure. They just attacked without warning.
They weren't in the least bit fazed by Dohalim's presence either.
Indeed. They seem to recognize us as enemies, nothing more. And yet, traditionally,
Their glazed-over eyes reminded me of the soldier.
I've never...
Maybe someone...
What with the...
Yes. Fight me.
It'll be a breeze. Get in, get out.
Raining Slash. Incineration Wave. You're mine. Dragon Swarm.
Your reflexes will not serve you well.
Explosive Ring.
Easy ensnaring to me. Yeah?
Not today.
Pummeling to me.
Sword Rain Alpha. Try this. Blended Flash. Blow them away. Now, take this.
Scream, babe.
Here I come. I'm on it. Sword Rain Alpha. Try this. Blended Flash. Try harder. My turn.
You see what happened there is you crossed me. Shouldn't have done
Sword Rain
that.
Alpha. Try this. Blended Flash. My turn. Dragon Swarm. Try this.
Resonate with the earth.
I'm on it.
I'll end you.
On board. Raining Flash. Incineration Wave.
This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes.
I wonder if we can make new weapons with this.
Retreat if you know what's good for you. I'll smash you.
Try harder. You're mine. Dragon Swarm.
Allow me to help.
Time to cross blade.
Charge like that.
Easily
Easily
Just as well, I'm here to stop it.
No escape.
That's freaking done.
Here I come.
Dance on the wind.
Try this.
On your
Blended Flash. Take this.
being interrupted.
Incineration Wave. No escape. Dragon Swarm. Try this. Explosive Ring. You'll pay for that.
Where are you going?
Here I come. Sword Rain Alpha.
back from death to this.
Talon Explosive Ring.
Here's a healing arm.
Take this. Now you see what I can do.
Try harder.
These fists have got your name on them.
You're mine.
No further.
I'm on it. Raining Flash.
Feel my weary companion.
Leave the charge up to me. Freeze laser.
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
You're mine.
Heal my weary companion. I can do
Too much. Far enough.
No gun shall break.
You picked the wrong fight.
You're
mine.
Catapult.
Blew away. Incineration wave. You're finished. Here I come.
Heal my wearied companion.
Hear my call.
Now we'll never.
Kill.
Take this.
Burning.
Try harder.
Water, hear my call.
Begin. Take this.
It's time to finish this. Die. Consuming wildfire.
Benediction light.
Be still. Here I come. Try harder. Here I come. Not a chance. Rising
I'll bring you down.
Dragon form. You're mine.
Nothing gets by me.
Explosive ray.
I'll smash you. Here goes.
Blew away. Sword Blade Alpha.
Radiant light.
I'll burn it all. Flaming pillar. Fire. This one's all
Take this.
Eat this. Eat this. Coming for you. Here I come.
Elusive deity.
I'll tear you apart.
Sorry.
It's over.
Lunar corruption.
Try harder. My turn.
These fists have got your name on them!
Take this.
I'll
tear you Dragon form. Try harder. Not a chance. I'm not done.
Now
I'm not try harder. Not a chance. Dragon form.
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! I'll tear you apart!
I'm ready! All yours, Kisara. Everyone's still in one piece?
Way.
I can carve down the I'll face you. Watch this!
Take down their defenses. Engaging! The flame inside me. Yours. I'll blind you with a shot. Too fast.
Stand back. I'll trip it up.
Healing art.
I'm not done. Megasonic thrust. Dragon form.
Astral art?
That's my cue.
Shut him down. We're not finished.
Blow them away!
My turn. Fire in the hole. Rising Dragon.
I'm just getting started. That's by the power of
Explosive ring.
Finish without a trip.
No further!
Hear me.
I'm ready.
Inferno power. Here's the healing art.
Explosive ring.
Powered hurricane.
Dragon form.
You require
Do it. I'll stop your movement.
You've been doing really great lately.
Now you see what I can do!
Not in your dreams! Healing turtle!
I really know.
They really don't give up, do they?
Try this! Inferno explosive ring! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! Eat this! Dragon
Here I
Flow!
come!
Try this!
Explosive ring! Fear!
Ignite!
Evil!
Dragon Swarm!
Freeze
Try
laser!
this! Explosive ring! Here!
Healing
Try
circle!
this! Explosive ring!
To the fray! Where are you going? Steering flag! Reload!
Blow away!
Radiant here! Radiant here!
You're mine!
Damn it! Out of the way!
In a bind? Now I'm in the
Dragon
groove!
Swarm!
You power of water!
Hey! Blow them away!
I can feel my power growing!
Those soldiers don't seem to have any qualms about attacking on sight.
Oh my
I
god.
won't forgive you!
Now you see what I can do!
Allow me to help you. Here!
I'm just getting... I think I'll pass on the handshake.
Here!
Radiant, here!
Try this!
Talon sword!
Explosive ring!
Steering flag!
Ignite!
Feel my weary companion!
Blow away! Incinerate this!
Gemini Aqua!
Take this!
Talon
Take
sword!
this!
By the power of
You're
water!
finished! Take this!
I'll heal you all!
Try this!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! Benediction light.
First aid!
I really owe you one.
Yeah.
Frickin' does it!
Lunar corruption!
Dragon Form!
By the Prism Mark!
Blood.
Gemini Aqua!
Lightning Strike!
Talon sword!
I'll face you.
Rising Phoenix!
This one's mine!
You'll pay for that!
From beyond,
Here's a healing
imbue
art.
this vanquished
Cut
soul with
aim.
light.
I owe you one. Try this!
Radiant, look here!
Explosive
I'll
ring!
bring you back from death to
Shine,
this!
radiant light, force of regeneration, regenerate. Our arts are being interrupted.
Annihilation!
Iota!
Flame!
I'll face you.
Explosive ring!
Out of ammo!
Elusive deity,
Megasonic thrust!
soaring ground. Now I'm in the groove. Take this.
Thrust!
Eagle ray.
Dragon Swarm! You picked the wrong fight!
Inferno
Dragon Swarm!
Mega ray!
Radiant light, force of regeneration.
Explosive ring!
I'll finish you here and now.
Megasonic thrust!
Another incantation ruined.
I owe you one.
Lightning! Flame of
This one
fury!
keeps charging us!
That's what my ship...
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Shine, radiant light, force of regeneration. And more than not burn out. He who prepares is free from regret.
Megasonic
In the
thrust!
sky
He
and
who
water!
prepares is free from
Steering
regret.
flag!
Explosive ring!
Catapult.
Dragon Swarm!
I'll grind you into dust.
Try this!
Gemini Aqua!
Explosive ring!
This one's mine!
Try this! Explosive ring!
I'll finish you here and now. Can't get out of this.
By the power of flame!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! Eat this!
Ignite!
Now I'm in the groove! Might with blackened blade!
Explosive ring!
Look sharp! Lightning tiger blade!
Remember to tell me if you need healing.
I expect you'll be in high demand if that's the case.
Forgive you!
Dragon Form! Now you see what I can do!
Not in your dreams!
Healing circle!
Take first strike! These ones can run rings around us!
Explosive ring!
Finish without a
Dragon Form! Try this!
Burn!
Explosive ring!
Explosion! Here is flame of fury! Burning!
Kick!
Glacial spear! Pierce the head with the freeze laser!
Incineration wave!
I'll heal you all!
I'm not... In a bind, the flame inside is yours to be let free!
Need to pull myself.
You picked the wrong fight! Megasonic thrust! Explosive ring!
Where are you going?
Dragon flame inside me, yours to be let free!
Inferno
Time! Dragon Swarm! Full regeneration!
I'm ready! Get toasty!
Burn strike!
Breath of life.
Pierce!
Heal my weary companion.
Another incantation ruined.
No further.
I can carve through armor.
You're mine! I'm not done!
Lunar blast!
I'm ready.
Take this!
Reload. Light burst forth.
Radiant Genesis!
Not a chance!
Talon storm. Seismic rupture. The tempest
Throwing light stone! In an instant! Impact block!
Small, but a victory nonetheless.
We have a long way yet to go.
Get lost! I'm the true gunslinger around here.
See what happened there as you crossed me. Shouldn't have done that.
Dragon Swarm! First strike! Explosive ring! Here!
Power of water!
Try this! Engage! Explosive ring!
If you can't get out of this! Mine.
Fire support! Dragon Swarm!
That'll bring you down.
Try this! Heal! Explosive ring!
Freaking does it!
Eat this!
Now you see what I can do.
Combat! Here I come! Megasonic
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Negative gate.
Air pressure!
Dragon Form! Explosive ring! Abort!
Radiant light.
Explosive ring!
Regenerate.
Don't suffer in a bind!
Dragon Swarm! Try this! Explosive ring!
Do it!
Totally! In an instant! Impact block!
My exploit are bearing fruit.
God damn it, dog.
a breeze. Get in, get out.
Easter!
Come on, man. Hey, Billy.
Burning dream. I never miss.
Imbue this vanquishing zone with life. Resuscitation. Take this. Can't get out of this.
Here I come. Dragon Form.
Blow them away.
Will this help?
My turn. Thank you. Take this.
I'll bring you back from death's abyss.
That's the spot.
No more playing nice. Flame of fury. Come on, roll now. Radiant pierce.
Dragon Form. Release here.
Let me have a sword. It's time to finish this. Die. Consuming wildfire. Water, hear my call.
Dragon Form. Try this.
Lunar frequency line.
First strike. Sword. Inside me, cure to be let free. Inferno power. Burn in hell.
Should have messed with me.
Next.
Benediction light.
Incineration wave.
Eat this. Ready and ready.
You'll finish it. Too late. Try this.
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Shine.
You require a hand.
Strike.
I never miss.
Regenerate! Leave the chargers to me!
By the power of water.
Can't get out of this.
Talon
You're mine. I'm ready to escape. Light burst forth.
Radiant Genesis.
There's always room for improvement.
This must be it. The entrance to the Forbidden Zone.
But it's just a wall. How do we get through?
Whoa, we? I thought this was Sovereigns only.
Alphen.
Yes! It opened!
Interesting. If Alphen's presence still opens the way, it would seem the Sovereign of 3 centuries ago and now are considered one and the same.
What?
What the?
Alphen.
You again.
Tomorrow's the spirit channeling ceremony. We'll finally play our parts as the Sovereign and Maiden. How have you been feeling?
What am I sovereign of? Shuffled from lab to lab, always treated like an experiment. Whenever they look at me, all they see is a Dahnan. I don't even know what their precious ceremony's for. Let alone what they're going to force me to do as the Sovereign. Tell me, if we're both in the same boat, why do you seem so calm right now?
No choice.
Becoming the Maiden's not something I wanted for myself. But they said Rena's prosperity depended on it. How could I say no after that?
Still, as a Renan, at least you got to decide. Good for you. Meanwhile, I was taken from my homeland. You aren't the captive one here.
It isn't right what they did to you, and I'm sorry for what it's worth. When this is over, I swear I'll help you get home. I can't do this alone. One more day.
How could I say no to that? It's not like I have any choice in the matter anyway. So, what's your name?
It's Naori. Naori Imaris. Try to remember this time.
You don't act like them. Like the other Renans, I mean. How come you treat me like a person?
Because you are. It's true we come from different worlds. But neither one of us asked to be here right now. In that sense, you and I are much the same. We couldn't do this. We wouldn't be able to talk to each other as people if we didn't see the humanity in each other. So I suppose the question you should be asking is, why wouldn't I treat you like one?
You're not like the others.
Maybe they're not like me.
Here's what we'll do. We give them their damn ceremony. You get me to Dana. That'll be the end of it. I'm taking you at your word on this. I'm trusting you, not them. Naori.
What the hell just happened?
That vision. Did everyone else see it too?
That person Alphen was speaking to, she looked exactly like Shion.
It was Naori. Naori Imaris. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right.
She really does look like Shion. I'm beginning to see why Alphen was so confused.
That's all very well and fine, but what did we just witness exactly? It was too real to be a mere hallucination.
It was a conversation we had 300 years ago. The night before the ceremony.
You mean all of that really happened? We just saw an episode straight out of your past?
But how is that even possible? Unless... Could this be the Red Woman's handiwork too?
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
You guys didn't feel it? The moment the entrance opened, it was like a stream of Danon astral energy rushing over us.
I felt it too. And not for the first time either. It was the same sensation as back inside the wedge.
That would make sense. After all, vast amounts of Dana's astral energy were being siphoned and sent up here to Lenegis, for all we know. Perhaps we're close to the spot where all that energy was stored.
So you think it might have been the energy itself that was responsible for that vision we just saw?
We have no way of knowing. Maybe...
Shion.
Yeah. So that was my ancestor, huh? It was like looking into a mirror.
Yeah, there certainly is a resemblance.
What about you? How are you holding up?
Me?
Even putting aside the question of where that vision came from, it's likely we'll see more of those. Reliving painful episodes from your past. Do you think you can handle it?
I can't just pretend like the past never happened. Besides, if it helps us uncover...
Alphen.
That's not all. I'd like to liberate them too, if I can.
Whether you're on Dana or somewhere else, you always do. Not that I'm
Nobody's here.
Stay sharp. After that last illusion, there's no telling what could happen in here.
Hmm? Hmm.
Faria, how did you get in here?
Wait, something about her isn't right.
What's wrong with her? She doesn't even seem to know where she is.
Yeah, you're right. She looks just like the soldiers we encountered outside.
A summoning?
But that's preposterous. She never had that kind of power when—
We can talk later. Here it comes!
What? I've never known Faria to control Zugos like that before.
How about with a stone that looks suspiciously like a master core?
Where did she get her hands on that?
First we handle the Zugos, then we get some answers. Aim for the
Now I'm in the groove.
Seismic rupture!
Explosive ring!
This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
Got it! I'll leave it to you!
Take this!
Prepare to be seized!
Blow away! Incineration wave! Take this! Here!
Try this!
I'm on it! Explosive ring! No turn! I'll smash you! Now I'm in the groove!
I never miss!
Dragon form! Swallow dance!
Another incantation ruined. Take this!
I can do this all day! Raining slash! I'm on it! Elusive dragon flash thrust!
On no let you all down. I couldn't make it in time.
God damn it, dog.
I'm sorry to trouble you.
You do the same for me.
Not done yet!
Can you take it?
Try this!
Catapult!
Explosive ring!
Catapult!
You're mine! I'm not done! Raining slash! Blow away! Raining slash! Not done
Prepare
yet!
to be sealed! In a vine?
Is this it?
Forgive me. This is my fault. I'm grateful. No art of being interrupted. Resonate with the earth. Not my finest.
Not done yet!
Elusive deity. Eagle ray.
Try this! Explosive ring!
I'll bring you back from dense abyss.
Benediction.
Raining! Try harder! It's wide open!
It won't escape me.
Burn! Blow away!
Never miss.
Swallow dance! Try harder! My turn!
Demon
Wrap.
Blow away!
Annihilation.
Raining slash! Blow away!
Take this!
Finish without
Dragon form!
Eagle shot! Radiant light! Force of regeneration! Regenerate! Armor won't save you! He who prepares is free from regret.
Is this it?
Dog, what the?
I could do this all day! I am not beyond fury!
Not done yet! Here I come!
I'll finish you here and now! Behold! The earth pulse! Tectonic vision! Breath of light! Heal my wounds is not my finest! I'm ready!
This ends now.
Consider yourself finished.
I'll bring you back from death.
Here I come! Dragon form!
I've used too much.
Explosive ring!
In a vine?
Here!
Eat this! It's trying to take us out.
Well, I won't go quiet!
Resonate with the earth!
Raven side, yours to be let free!
Glacial spear. Here's evil.
Dragon form! Burn!
Far enough. Searing flame. Reload. I never.
Stay away from my friend!
Oh my god.
I'll bring you back from death's abyss. Resuscitation! Take it! How is this?
Resonate with the earth!
By the power of water!
On your
Mega Ray! Annihilation!
air pressure!
I'll
Rending you
bring you back
apart!
from death's abyss.
Bloody howling!
Resuscitation!
Demon
I'll bring
Land!
you
You're
back from
mine!
death's
Take
abyss.
this! Blow away! Breath of life! Heal my weary Try harder! Take it! Don't pay for this! Allow me to help you. Blow away! In a bind? Talon Hurricane! Elusive deity! Dragon Swarm! What's this? Can't move!
Don't leave me!
Anything in armor is everlasting darkness! Negative gate! Rending you apart!
I don't even know the word defeat.
Dragon Shell!
That'll bring you down.
Bloody outlet! I'll smash you!
Blow
away! Raining Slash! Blow away! Raining Slash! It's in your hands now.
Resuscitation!
Raining Slash!
Yes,
Don't pay for this! Raining Slash! Blow away! Not today! What's this?
Here's evil!
Blow away! You're mine!
Tree Blazer! Here's the I'm almost impressed.
High praise coming from you.
I said almost. Don't get carried away.
Blow away! Inferno Punch! Now, while it's reeling!
Take it down.
In a bind? Anything in armor is
Right, watch out!
not my finest. You'll pay for that! This isn't looking good. Bloody howling! On your nothing gets by me! The flame inside me, yours, will be let free!
Glacial Spear.
Burn in hell! Tear you apart!
Freeze Blazer.
Raining... Go away!
Searing Flame.
You're mine!
Where are you going?
Eat this!
Radiant
My
Flame.
dragon
Searing
blade!
Flame.
Swallow this!
Reload.
Just getting
I'm out of ammo.
explosive ring! I could do without Can't get out of this!
Healing Circle.
Blow away! Blow away!
Back into the fray.
Raining you!
Annihilation. By the power of flame.
I'll run you through! Blow away! Raining Slash! Now in the away! Bloody howling!
Do it.
Shield!
This one's got your name on it.
Ashes to ashes! Now it's just her! Faria, can you hear me? Faria!
She's preparing another summoning! The art she's casting is way too powerful to control. At this rate, her body won't be able to take much more. Dohalim!
Forgive me. Man, I thought we were goners.
Everything okay?
Yes. She's only unconscious.
Not her. I meant you.
Shion, please. Can you treat her?
I can try, but I can't promise she'll be back to her real self when she wakes up. All I can do is heal her physically.
We're not even supposed to be in here. Maybe it'd be better if we moved her to somewhere a little safer. Don't you think?
In that case...
I'll take her off your hands.
You? Avakir, what are you doing here?
I was curious what you were up to, so I took the liberty of following you to find out. I overheard what you said about Tarnagin, about how he really died. I'm sorry. I had no idea.
And you believed me? What makes you so sure I wasn't lying?
I like to think I know you a little better than that, Dohalim. Give me some credit. I'll take Faria. Leave her with me. I know better than to ask what you're up to. But whatever it is, I hope it all works out.
Thank you.
He seems like a good friend.
He hasn't changed. He never was one to stand out. Instead, he was always hanging back, worrying about everyone else. As for Faria, it's always the closest to me who get hurt.
You don't seriously blame yourself for what happened to her, do you?
Somebody got to her, to strike back at me. Someone who knew me well enough to know that I'd hesitate to fight back. And the same goes for you as well. Neither you nor Faria would have lost loved ones if it wasn't for me.
You're wrong. Kelzelik was the one who killed my brother, under orders from Almeidrea. As for Tarnagin, if it weren't for the crown contest, he'd still be alive. That and the whole damn hierarchy that makes it possible. But that's why we're fighting. To put an end to this whole messed up system that treats people as expendable.
Indeed. Ridding society of this blight is really the only way I know how to atone for my sins.
You can't atone, Dohalim. I know it hurts to hear, but those people are dead. No amount of soul-searching or trying to make amends is going to change that. Forgiveness, acceptance, those ships have sailed.
So I just forget the harm I caused?
No, the opposite, in fact. You remember. You never forget. You keep it in your heart always. And then you go on living. Not for those already passed, but for those still alive.
For those still alive.
Kisara's right. So long as we've still got breath in our bodies, we can make a difference in the lives of others. Lives being the operative word.
That's what living's all about. Being able to still make a difference. Punishing yourself for the past won't make the pain of your conscience go away.
Only fixing the problem in its stead. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. You have to live for tomorrow, Dohalim, not for yesterday. And not only that, you need to live for yourself, and for the change that you still can be.
I shall try.
Don't forget, we've still got a mystery to solve.
Shion.
Huh?
Thank you. You have my deepest gratitude for what you did for Faria.
Glad to be...
I'm glad we could stop Faria without hurting her.
You all did much for her as well. I'm most grateful.
Oh, shucks. We're on the same team. What is it, Rinwell? Do you hear something again?
Yeah. It's that voice.
The will of Dana's astral energy.
What? There's so much astral energy. But where's it all coming from? It's almost like it's alive.
That was the spirit channeling ceremony just now. No, it was more than that.
What the hell was that? It felt like everything was on the brink of... like the whole world was seconds from...
Oblivion. It's the same vision as the one my thorns show me. A vision of impenetrable darkness that swallows up us and everything else.
An empty void. A nothing so complete and dominating that there aren't even words to describe it. The end of time.
The visions of the apocalypse you've been seeing. If I'd known how bad they were,
So, everything we just saw, those were Naori's memories, right?
That's right. It was as if her innermost thoughts were speaking directly to us. At least I know they weren't mine.
That power flowing into her. It reminds me of Shionne's thorns. If they're what's responsible for all these visions she's been having, then maybe...
Maybe my thorns are made from that same astral energy?
If that is the case, we just found the missing link between your thorns and what happened here 3 centuries ago. No, more than a link. Perhaps even the very heart of the matter.
I've never felt astral energy so powerful. What was that?
If it's the same energy your thorns are made of, it must be dark astral energy, right? And isn't that something only Renans have?
Correct. Dark astral energy is possessed by Renans alone.
And when enough astral energy gathers together, it develops its own form of sentience. If so, maybe that complete oblivion is exactly what the Renan astral energy's will is wishing for. But why?
I don't know. Will can be a pretty vague thing to nail down. It's more of a feeling. Just like the will of Dana.
But the will of Dana is made up of astral energy too, right? And if that's what's been showing us these visions, I don't know, should we really be getting so involved with this thing?
Dana's will would never want Oblivion.
Cut it out, you two. Squabbling over theories will get us nowhere.
Let's keep moving. If it's Dana's will showing us these memories, then I'm as clueless about its motives as any one of us. But if it could lead us to the truth, then I want to find out more.
Shionne's right. All we can do is keep going. If these really are Naori's memories we're watching, there could be truths in them I was never aware of. And I think they may be the kinds of truths I need to confront if we're going to keep fighting.
I'm sorry about what I said earlier. Come on, let's go.
Finally, we begin to understand what the thorns are.
Yes, and their source. A ceremony that occurred 3 centuries ago.
Do you think Faria was
Soon, you might very well learn the truth behind Shionne's thorns. As well as my own past, I have to be ready to face anything. Whatever happens. I'm determined to save Shionne and Dana. Nothing I learn can change that. Hold up, you guys.
What is it?
I want to look through that room over there. I'm curious what we'll find.
That's the room you visited in your past, right? Sure. We can check it out. This looks like some kind of research facility.
A laboratory secreted away in the Forbidden Zone. Why am I past being surprised at this point?
Looks pretty deserted.
Let's check it out. It might give us a new lead.
I think I can make this work.
Well, can you make head or tail of it?
These are experiment records by the looks of it. Reams of them, dating back hundreds of years. Let's see. A composite being capable of controlling Dahnan astral energy so as to convert its molecular and elemental makeup. The creation of a governing central figure taking the form of a Dahnan. Codename Sovereign.
Sovereign?
Wait, there's more. Research into utilizing force field crystals for the purpose of stable astral energy containment. That must be the Master Course. With all this raw data, there's bound to be records here somewhere about the Maiden and the Lords, too.
About the Lords? Why would they be on there?
Think about it. The Lord's crests are clearly of a piece with those of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. Not to mention the fact that the contenders to the crown are selected from otherwise regular Renan citizens. In other words, it may be that all Renans are unwittingly being made subject to some kind of grand scheme.
What about the Sovereign? Does it say anything else?
Where do I start? All I've read so far is the headlines. There's so much here. To sift through all of it would require specialized... Wait.
What is it? Did you find something?
It's a list of names, with the title, Test Subjects, Sovereign. It's your call.
Read it.
There must be dozens of test subjects listed here. Hundreds even. All of them failures. Wait. I think I've found one that was successful. Test subject number 1273. Ethnicity, NA. Unique adjustment index, generation, NA. Given name, Alphen.
They re-engineered me. Right here in this lab.
Alphen.
It's fine, really. What about the others? Was I the only one?
Test subject number 10105. Ethnicity, NA. Unique adjustment index, generation, NA. Given name, Volron.
Volron? But that means...
He's only sovereign because someone made him that way too.
He's the last one. In 3 centuries worth of records, you and Volron are the only 2 subjects on whom the experiment was a success.
But what about the winners of the crown contests? Does this mean that none of them were ever crowned sovereign after all?
Upon victory, the Sovereign shall return to Rena and rule over Rena and Lenegis combined. When a new Sovereign is decided, the outgoing monarch shall relinquish their post and live out the rest of their days on Rena. So we were told. According to these records, there have only ever been 2 Sovereigns, neither of whom had anything to do with the crown contest. It's all lies, including the part about the Sovereign residing in Rena. The crown contest was never about deciding a new ruler. It must always have been devised for some other purpose.
But even supposing that's true, someone must have been in charge for the past 3 centuries, right? If it wasn't the Sovereign, then who was it?
Crown contests have been held this whole time, in spite of the fact that there was already a Sovereign. Me. Meaning that for the past 300 years, someone out there has to have been maintaining that lie. The same person I'm willing to bet is behind all this.
The Red Woman?
It's possible. But that doesn't necessarily mean she's the mastermind behind this scheme. She could be working for someone else. Someone back on the Renan homeworld.
Either way, it's fair to say she's definitely involved somehow.
What about the data records? Is there no other information that could help us?
Not that I can see. Just file upon file of experiment results. There's nothing here about who's behind all this, or what their endgame is, unfortunately. I've barely managed to scratch the surface, mind you. You won't be able to read through it all, but you're welcome to take a look through what you can, while we're here.
I'll do that.
So this is where Alphen became the Sovereign, and Volron as well. The significance of this location would suggest...
Hey, it looks like the terminals in here turned on too.
We should look through them. They might contain valuable information.
Only 2 sovereigns in over 300 years. So why has the experiment only succeeded twice in all this time? And if that's the case, why keep on doing it? Was there really no other way? Or could there be some other reason?
Dohalim.
Forgive me.
Alphen.
I'm fine. I'm just a little shaken, that's all. I knew what I was already, so it's not like it's a surprise or anything. But it's strange. I've got all this rage inside of me, but I don't even know who it's for. I'm scared that I'll put a face to it, just to have someone to blame.
If that were to happen, then No. Then we'd help you fight it, before you ever got that far. Wouldn't we, everyone?
Yeah. We wouldn't just sit by and watch you spiral out of control.
That's right. No good can come from being consumed by hatred.
If you ever start to lose your way, you can count on us to guide you back. To remind you where home is.
And I would be happy to lend an attentive ear.
That vision we saw.
What do you make of it?
The people of Lenegis, the Forbidden Zone is the stuff of dreams. Yet here I am, standing...
It's off limits even for lords, then?
Being exclusive is one thing.
Strange doesn't cover it, whoever the Sovereign is. They...
Did no one ever...
No.
The Forbidden... That is what we... But now...
Naori, I...
Don't talk. I have to do this. I gave you my word that I'd help you return to Dana. The next time you open your eyes, you'll be home.
But you...
My place is here with my people. I still have a duty to fulfill. I'm sorry for what you've endured. Rena never should have dragged you into this. It's not your burden to bear.
But...
The mask contains a sedative. It should keep your mind from tearing itself apart any further. Let yourself go to sleep. This should help with the pain. Time to go, Alphen. Farewell. His injuries are worse than I thought. Short-term treatment isn't going to cut it. I'll have to switch the healing pod to long-term hibernation mode. The chance of surviving hibernation's less than 10%? And worse, long-term use of the mask carries a high risk of damaging his mind and nervous system. But... If I don't head back, Lenegis will be nothing but ashes. And this starship along with it. I don't know if I can fulfill my promise to you, Alphen. But if doing this will grant you even the slightest chance, I have to try. I hope it's enough. Please, live for me, Alphen.
That vision. It must have been from when Naori helped Alphen escape Lenegis.
She sure went above and beyond the call of duty.
Even with Lenegis crumbling down around her?
So that's why you lost your memories and sense of pain, and why you were asleep for that whole time. It was all the result of one agonizing decision Naori made to save your life.
Yeah. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't even be alive today. I owe her everything. More than I could ever hope to repay.
Now that you know how she felt, how do you plan on honoring her wishes?
She kept her promise. If the Renan people she fought so desperately to protect are at risk from a malevolent force, Naori was the one who put that mask on me. It made me Iron Mask.
She did it to prevent your soul from tearing itself apart. She knew you might lose your memories and sense of pain as a result. But more than anything, she wanted you to survive. And you did.
This place. We've seen this in one of Naori's memories.
Of course. After 300 years, this is where it was held. The spirit channeling ceremony. This is where the Renis Alma was.
So this is the place where you and...
The Renis Alma isn't here now.
I know it's difficult, Alphen.
Naori.
What is this? Is it the work of Dana's will again?
It's been a year since the ceremony. That day, I shut away inside of myself the power that caused Alphen to lose control. Since then, my visions of the future have grown more and more fearsome.
Is this another memory? No, it's different this time. It's like she's speaking directly to us.
What we did back then. Not so much as a day passes when I don't think about it. About what was done to us, all in the name of a ceremony. The purpose of which we were never even told. As Sovereign, they linked Alphen's consciousness to Lenegis itself. The Renis Alma was intended to control his power, lest anything should slip through its cracks. That day, as Maiden, my role was to temper his power. I was meant to guide it forth, and give shape to the strength inside of him.
Linked to Lenegis itself? But then...
But that power showed me a vision. A vision of oblivion. when I realized that vision was a prophecy of the apocalypse we were about to unleash. I couldn't go through with it, but without a maiden, the ceremony was doomed. Alphen lashed out, his consciousness no longer his own. I did what I could. Using my abilities as the maiden, I tried to seal that power away inside of me, but it was too late. Lenegis had already been brought to its knees. Thousands upon thousands of lives so cruelly snuffed out. All because of me. Because of what I had done with the destructive force now slumbering inside of me. I knew I had to find a way to dispose of it. Anything to make up for my failure. Especially since that power was astral energy itself. In which case, ironically enough, the Renis Alma seemed to be my best bet. That, at least, would hold the astral energy dormant. Assuming that no malevolent third party got to it first. With the Sovereign and Maiden's combined power, perhaps I could shift the chaotic energy inside me into the Renis Alma instead. That's what I hoped. But, alas, the Renis Alma was lost. And Alphen, the Sovereign, was in a starship bound for Dana. My only choice was to seal away the destructive force inside of me using my powers as the Maiden. The time needed for a new Renis Alma to be crafted. And for a new Sovereign to appear. Even if by doing so, it meant I would be passing the curse onto my descendants as well. Please, forgive me. I never meant to burden the future world with this threat too. I only wish that—
Wait, you can't just—
Naori.
That message just now, was it directly from Naori? Or was it the Dahnan voice speaking through her?
What?
These are the clothes that Naori and I wore during the ceremony 3 centuries ago.
So you're saying this is the Maiden's outfit?
That's right. These clothes are designed to resonate with the Sovereign and Maiden's abilities. They focus and enhance them.
And they appeared now because...
Naori must have left them here for the new Sovereign and Maiden, knowing the day would come when they would need them in their fight against the Thorns.
These outfits are directly linked to the answers we've been chasing this whole time. If they're here, it must mean it was Naori's will for us to find those answers as well.
Locating the Renis Alma would allow us to neutralize the dark astral energy inside Shion, thereby silencing her thorns. Is that what Naori's suggesting?
It makes sense. After all, Master Cores and Spirit Vessels are both able to prevent the astral energy inside them from developing sentience. By that logic, it would stand to reason that the Renis Alma would have the same ability on a larger scale.
We have a Maiden and Sovereign. Now all we need is the Renis Alma, and we'll finally be able to free you of your thorns. Shion.
It's possible? You really think so?
I do. We can rid you of your thorns and stop the world from falling to oblivion.
However, the spirit channeling ceremony already failed once. Even if our goal is different this time, we can't be sure the same thing won't happen again. We should take care not to be too optimistic.
You're right. It's the barest sliver of a chance. But if there's even the slightest hope it can work, I'm willing to stake everything I've got on it.
I know it's too early to let myself feel relieved, but I just can't seem to help it. Just hearing there's the slightest chance, even though I know the world's still in great peril. It's selfish of me, I know, but still.
No, it isn't. You found hope to believe in.
Rinwell's right. We can rid—
Thank you. Naori and—
Starting with a little game called—
Yeah, we've come all this way.
Yeah!
I too shall lend my—
And they say modesty is—
How do you know it's me? Now let's get moving, shall we? Thank you, Naori. So Naori sealed away the power that made me lose control of myself. She stopped my rampage and saved my life. But then, that power she'd sealed away was passed down to you. I'm so sorry, Shion. It's my fault that you're cursed.
You're wrong. What happened to you was because of the ceremony, and Naori's attempt to stop Oblivion. You paid a heavy price for it, and then fell asleep for 300 years. The reason you lost your memories
is the reason for your curse.
The thorns.
It all leads back to them. But once they're gone, we can finally put an end to all this.
When my thorns are gone, I never dared to dream that such a thing could be possible. No, the truth is, I think about a life, the touch of my family, holding hands with Rinwell, or giving Law a deserved smack, embracing everyone. All the normal things that people do together. I always wished I could experience them for myself, and finally know what they were like. Is it really okay for me to believe it can happen? I'm so scared of getting my hopes up. What if it doesn't work out in the end, and...
That's not going to happen. I'm here to make sure. Forget fate. We're going to live a normal... There are a lot of things you still want to do.
Yeah, I know, and it's for...
You're worth...
I believe you.
Good. I'll keep on fighting. Until our...
Yes. Nice.
Sounds like this Naori chick had...
Her position demanded...
Yeah.
Ah, caramba.
That's quite some door, all right. This might finally be it. The heart of the beast.
We'll find the Renis Alma and the Red Woman inside, right?
After everything we've been through to get here, they damn well better be.
We'll probably be needing you to open this one for us, Sovereign.
Go for it, Alphen.
This is it, guys. Time to see what secrets are in store.
Jesus Christ. Can't do stock up.
We're a long way from the residential quarters now. It looks completely different.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, this place... it reminds me more of being back inside the Wedge.
Except the Danon astral energy feels even...
in a portion of...
Maybe he... This place... Still...
Hold up, Deck. When a preference... That depends.
The void that art fills isn't...
Volron! He really was still alive.
And there's the Renis Alma. Then, is this another spirit channeling ceremony?
Wait, though. Something doesn't seem right here.
Once more, the powers must be united. Born from the fires of chaos, the world does seek its rightful state. All must be sacrificed in the heart of Rena, at the shrine of the true sovereign.
What has happened to him? He's lost himself. Reduced to a mere cog in the machine.
Hey, look! Over there!
Isn't that the Maiden's crest?
Can it be that this entire chamber is meant to act as a substitute for the Maiden?
It looks like it's still running, but... are we already too late to stop the ceremony?
If that's what caused Lenegis' transformation, then the purpose of the ceremony must have been to drain all the astral energy out of Dana.
But for what purpose? What could possibly need astral energy on that sort of scale?
I don't know. But whatever it is, I'll bet it's connected to those visions of oblivion. Regardless, we cannot stand by and let them steal Dana's energy. That said, we should retrieve the Renis Alma. Because right now, we need that most of all.
He's not gonna lunge at us out of nowhere, right?
Not the time, Law.
Alphen, look!
The Red Woman! So we finally found you. I have a lot of questions for you.
I would say to use them by your cat.
They all have the same face?
PlayStation card them?
How is that even possible?
Yeah.
The card classic.
Who the hell are they?
It can't be. Are they even people?
It's hard to know for sure, but I think they're the true rulers of Rena.
Really? So who now come out in the next batch?
I don't know, but one is there,
particularly talkative.
It's no use, Alphen. If we don't fight, we may as well be sitting down.
Good point. Let's stop them before this gets out of hand.
Well, Sunday the last one, so we'll see what we need.
Go for the combo, you need to go on the
Yes, man, I just really the strongest lifter. That kind of fucking know how to do the strongest lifter. Why would I make it spend that much? Free from the let us take this I want him to undergo.
Only more I get, you know, when you rerun me, I get it.
Yeah, Venti, yeah, I need Venti, yeah. I need that crowd control character. Después cancel aquí no manden la como te digo. No, I be properly there.
I never miss. Not in your dreams.
Come and get up these
The touch them.
Then start attacking.
Tackles are touching, but not expensive. Tackles when they go like a $10 base and it'll be like 11, 70 something. And G2 that should be like 12 shit. 19.
So if we get a 20, how much that will?
That'll be like
being interrupted.
Yeah, hold on, I'll do that. Why are you
getting like 20 so they're like 10 souls, 800 maybe. So that's basically $23 basically. So if I just like early 2 souls, 800, 2 souls, and then Jamaica.
$22, brother?
$23, it's just 20 infinite. Just round it up. Mid the 20.
Oh, that's all that 2,000 you put it now. What the hell?
When look on the currency.
Here I come beyond.
Oh God, one more 2,000 Junior. Yo, Jamaica.
Some punishment?
Hold on, holiday. No, brother. Oh, Jamaica currency. Oh, shit. Oh my God.
Come and do me battle first, like, I just buy, you know.
Wow. Wow, I look at the 20, like, you're supposed to, like, send my dad money to Western Union for, like, the 20 hours. You have to be 2,926.
Hold on,
It was like 15,000.
I couldn't make it in time.
Imbue this vanquished soul with blood resuscitation. Breath of life. Heal my weary companion. Flew away. I owe you one. Flew away. Imbue this vanquished soul with life. Flew away. Raining slap. Elusive deity. Eagle ray. The flame inside me yearns to be let free.
Well, I don't want to, like, see if I know I want to buy something. That's what I know say for the whole week I just do overtime.
We do overtime.
Scarlet Inferno!
Why? I don't know that. I just get comfortable. Like, after some point, I just get to my station, kind of dark turn up with the AC there, and I just watch YouTube most of the while, but sometimes I want to connect. And I'll be like, my second room, hey man, don't worry man, we'll let me do it for you man.
Raining slash! Flew away! Raining slash!
No rest for the wicked.
Water, hear my call! Spread! Raining slash! Flew away! Raining slash! Elusive deity! Flew away! I never miss!
Kind of want to like like that. Nobody can say that. It's so hard for him to like and can see it, but it's hard for him like
in an instant.
and they don't have much time.
I'll bring you back from Death's Abyss.
Surrender. Fighting is useless now.
Do you think it's really over?
Astral energy. Watch out! They've got something up their sleeve!
What?
It's so destructive.
Aku nak sifar bomba yo.
Just a little roughed up.
Brother, I'm going to habis today.
You had me worried there.
Wait, how much stars you get?
Who said
More
you could
stars,
touch that?
36 brother. Full stars brother.
Real?
Yeah.
Damn.
But I'm gonna be the national team in the bro.
Damn it! He's awake!
I'll left him do
I should have thought as much.
That means you can pull who you want to pull for now, you have nothing to worry about.
It was built for me, after all.
But more pull the youth out though, cause
We'll
more
save that for another
like
time. More pressing
him like say so
is
like
how
me
I'm
have to
going
do
to tear
7
you
minutes.
apart.
Me have to skim through
Even
by
after
like
all
10
this time,
seconds. We left like 7
still
minutes and
insist on
10
hating
seconds
me.
and kill him and
You cut me
Well,
down.
how you did use
Like
fun the Larry nigga? How you did use fun?
We'll pay for that.
Ball.
You're
Ball.
obviously bluffing. You can't even move right now.
Sucrose Jinsu.
Really, is that what you think?
What the hell?
Brother,
You think you have the emblem set?
Sucrose.
Did you
Emblem
really
set, no,
think
no,
that's
no,
such a
brother.
petty device?
What's
Wait,
it?
who was your first
Are you
team
going
then?
to claim it's because you're a
First
ruler?
team,
Be it sovereigns or lords. In the end, they're all titles given by someone else.
Plus, what kind of
Ayaka,
ruler would spend all his time chasing out? Who happens to be another sovereign?
Oh, idle pride. I
Yeah.
proved my worth and the sovereign's powers were granted to me.
Brother, right to know
Were they really? We already know the title of sovereign doesn't denote royalty.
It's a triple
It is but
crown.
an
I have
overblown
a
code name
boot
for
on
those with a
Ganyu,
designated
you know.
part to play in these proceedings.
I saved my crown. I was double crown. I can't do
You
my
were
crown
not
for
the only one
Nike.
stolen from Dana, correct?
I saved all my crown them for Ganyu and Joe. Crown Joe Brace and Crown Ganyu charge shot them. I normal attack.
All of those failed experiments, and they still kept going back to Dana. There must have been some vital reason their subject had to
Yeah, I was
specifically
telling
be a
Chris
Dana.
about it, saying that for him to be
Found in the
like
library.
good, like Muffin did like decent enough damage like what Zhang Ling do. Because people say that him gonna be like a
Yet the data they
Inazuma
took
version of
from
Zhang
him was
Ling.
exactly the same.
But hopefully him damage
Just to a
good
single
like
conclusion.
Chris or even better. That'll be even better because man can shield you.
Goran was
This show
kidnapped
lots
just
of
like
bombard
Alpha?
damage.
But then he became
This
a...
was Shanlin. More than want him be like a Inazuma Jinshu,
A
brother.
slave from Dana.
But then the person that went fling out,
Just
brother.
like us.
Oh, with film one, film shit them
That
straight.
right? Full
Crash
run.
it
Yeah,
up
you
straight.
can imagine him with
So he
balance
posed as a
Jinshu,
Renin
brother.
and
Yeah,
caused
the
all
freaking
that suffering to his own
is
people?
How could you?
Overloaded.
If you knew the pain of being a slave, why would you inflict that upon
Well,
others?
Renin and Dana are meaningless distinctions. He and
But
everyone
Zhang Ling
else.
Billy is the emblem to tear in for her.
Wow.
I will stand
Zhang Ling.
above all
Zhang
others
Ling.
and take what is
Yeah.
rightfully
Brother.
mine, starting
Me
with
say me a work
this.
for me something. The national team, me no be like. Me no translation say that.
Oh, Ross, you know.
A red woman.
Another one?
I think me have two.
Give your master back on Rena this message. No one makes a fool of me. Let them know I'll make them suffer.
But me they are like, how much were they in the banana? They are 15 red.
See? I'm at 0.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad. I'm glad. But I must hope say when I
Don't
was
do
Sunday
it.
come and I see like how the banner they say whoever coming out, especially that who's banner because Vince and Bumba know what's supposed to be banner. Why? I'm going for full funny dog. Right, I need something to completion and dog. One bill on me.
Too late. You can't stay here.
We need to go. Outfit!
dog park.
Well, I'll wait for Dushi to come next time. Dushi, give them good. I focus on my DPS character for Marco. More DPS. I would think it's 33 stars in Abyss. But that's only for after switch out team and switch and switch in and switch in. Right, no more than 30.
I played yesterday and just the workout
Real?
Yeah, man.
In some day look out, you know, in power they look out, you know. In Wi-Fi box.
Let me see man coming on a shop boy. Emblem set. Check the upper ball and put it on him. With Benny to man sibling, man soul man look like 7, 8 kid going to go. You know, I say, what?
But no, I will be your shadow no matter where you try to run.
So I'm going in the domain to go farm and get what the ultimate will for us, brother.
Let's go.
It's like you have 100% uptime on ultimate. Don't me use it, and then look what found in the ultimate again right after you don't have the other.
Ignore man. My word is law.
Is this free?
Are you
using
okay?
jungling?
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Is Volron... have we finally seen the last of him?
We can but hope.
Those red women. What the heck was their deal?
Could they be the
Yeah,
ones behind all this?
Which one they use?
The same ones who put those soldiers and Faria
Oh,
in a
they're
trance?
What? Those brainless things? Either way.
Whatever's stolen from us,
Now,
the
Black,
future's
we're fine.
ours to
We're
protect.
done, you know.
And right now,
Oh,
those
yeah,
things are
man,
what's
that
standing
one.
in our way. We can head them off at Rena.
Did you say Rena?
Volron mentioned a master of theirs holed up in the motherland somewhere.
If that monstrous form...
Yeah.
Oh, you know, pull
So
from
this
the...
thing over
You know,
on...
you know,
the
wait.
Renasalma in their grasp
It's
already.
only
We're
here,
agreed.
2 jungle constellation. That's what... When you were pulling for
But
Bala,
no,
how much...
I was not expecting Voron to actually be here. He seemed to care not one whit about Renans or Danans.
Only thing they
Yeah,
give me a super.
not in a good way like with us.
Get like super.
Oh my god, son.
Remember, anytime Zing should come back again, I'll definitely pull for Theme Constellation. But for now, man, I have to wait, boy. So we can get her next time, man.
Right now, I don't know if see one Huto or Huto one and start for home.
Start for home, right. Could have pull from one of them. Time soon come here.
So you're going to put Blackcliff on her?
For jungling?
Huto.
Huto not pulling Huto.
Oh, yeah, nah,
if I get Huto, then I'll put it that much
Brother,
on
yeah,
there.
man, brother. Brother Huto now go run until like year after next or some shit like that.
No, but you already have a team, so around here, like around Gunny and Joe. Already. Can I help me in a bit? There's only 3 more stairs I need.
You got the monster man them rerun, well, Belventi.
This is the kid I want Ganyu, Joe, then
you know,
Venti.
Zuma man them rerun, brother. You go reach a point again if you have to wait 2 years for a man rerun.
We so good, yes, huh? Right, then about C6, you had to already.
Man, brother. If you can compare to Huto, brother.
No, I know Huto good enough, but Chana Dog, as I said from before we even talk what you're saying. All 3 of them good, but I say it's kind of hard to get all 3 of them. But I know. The next 5 stars are kind of, kind of rough on my side.
I guess it makes sense, but no, the advisor use Huto without like a Jandy, brother. Huto The high risk, brother. At dead, brother.